Hello, everyone. In the previous episode, we told you how Yosef ordered the brothers to leave Binyamin with him as a slave because the goblet was found in his bag. Yehuda absolutely refused. The story begins with a very tense moment. Yehuda approaches the Egyptian ruler, who is actually Yosef, but the brothers still don't know that. He pleads with him to release Binyamin. At a certain point, Yehuda began speaking to Yosef harshly, even hinting that he wouldn't hesitate to kill him to free Binyamin. Yehuda continued and told him how much their father Yaakov loves Binyamin, and that if Binyamin doesn't return, Yaakov might die of grief. Yosef asked Yehuda, "Why are you speaking more than all the other brothers?" Yehuda explained that he is responsible for Binyamin. Yosef offered Yehuda money. "Here, take the money and fulfill your responsibility." Yehuda replied and said, "I didn't commit for money. I committed my life in this world and the next." Then Yehuda decided to offer himself to stay with Yosef as a slave and release the rest of the brothers. Yosef, of course, did not agree. At this point, a loud argument began between Yehuda and Yosef, which was accompanied by serious threats. Yosef realized that it was starting to get dangerous, so maybe it was time to reveal himself to his brothers. Suddenly, something happened. Yosef said to the brothers, "You told me that Binyamin's brother is dead, right? You lied because I bought him as a slave." Yosef called out, "Yosef, son of Yaakov, come to me." When the brothers heard this, they started looking around every corner of the room, and again he said, "Yosef, son of Yaakov, come to me." They looked and saw nothing. Suddenly Yosef stopped and said to them, "Why are you looking around? I am Yosef, your brother. Is my father still alive?" At that moment their souls left them and they immediately revived. They were afraid that Yosef would harm them, so they wanted to attack him. But then Yosef called to them and said, "Don't worry. I love you, and I'm not angry with you for selling me. Know that I did not sin, and I stood up to the challenges I faced here." Yosef asks them to go back and tell Yaakov that he is alive, and that he is a ruler in Egypt, therefore he cannot leave. "Take these wagons and bring our father here. If he doesn't believe you that I'm alive, show him the wagon, and remind him that the last time we parted, we studied the section of Eglah Arufa, the beheaded calf, together." "But I have a request," said Yosef. "You're now setting out on your journey, so I ask that you don't argue about the fact that you sold me. Don't be afraid of robbers on the way, because you are on a mission of a mitzvah, and you will not be harmed. Don't forget to study Torah on the way, and when night falls, stop and don't continue on your journey." The brothers set out on their journey. The brothers didn't know how to tell Yaakov that Yosef was alive because he was old and might faint from such news. They decided to do something. They asked Serach, the daughter of Asher, Yaakov's granddaughter, to go and sing to him while he was praying to prepare him for the news. Serach approached the place where Yaakov was praying and sang, "Yosef is in Egypt, and born to him were Manasseh and Ephraim." As soon as he finished praying, the sons came and told Yaakov the news. Yaakov didn't believe them, so the brothers showed Yaakov the wagons that Yosef had sent and reminded him of the section of the Eglah Arufa they studied before Yosef left. Then Yaakov's mind was calm and at ease. He asked to hurry and go meet Yosef. On the way to Egypt, something interesting happened. Yaakov stopped in Beersheba to offer a sacrifice to Hashem for the good news. And he stopped there specifically because his father Yitzhak had built an altar there. After he offered the sacrifice, he went to sleep. Then Hashem appeared to him and said, "I know you are afraid to go down to Egypt. Don't be afraid at all. I am with you, and I will watch over you and your children. You will be by your son Yosef's side until the end of your days, and I'll make sure you are buried in the land of Israel and not in Egypt." In the morning, Yaakov continued on his way to Egypt. When Yaakov arrived in Egypt, Yosef went out to meet him in a magnificent chariot. When they finally met, Yosef cried on Yaakov's neck and said, "Father, I love you." But Yaakov didn't say anything, because at that moment he was reciting the verse, "Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad." Wow, what greatness! With all the tremendous longing he had, he remembered Hashem first. When he finished, they hugged and cried. Such a special moment after 22 years of separation. The news that Yosef's family was in Egypt reached Paro's palace. Yosef explained to the brothers that they should say they are shepherds because the Egyptians hate shepherds. And by this, Paro would allow them to live in the land of Goshen, a place separate from the Egyptians. At that time, Yosef brings Yaakov to Paro to bless him. The entrance to Paro's palace was low, so that anyone entering would bow down. But when Yaakov arrived, the ceiling rose. Yaakov said to Paro, "I want to be buried in the land of Israel. If you tell me that you will allow my children to bury me in the land of Israel, I will stay. And if not, I will leave." Paro agreed, and then Yaakov blessed that the famine would end, and so it was. While all this is happening, Yosef continues to manage Egypt during the famine. At first, the Egyptians paid him money for food, and when the money ran out, they gave their livestock, and finally they gave their lands to Paro. Yosef's brothers lived in the land of Goshen. They came down to Egypt as 70 people, but now they are much more. What happened right after and what happened to Yaakov, we'll tell you in the next episode.